If you have a ton of shade in your yard, on your balcony, on your porch, and you still want to garden, then this video, it's for you. Today, I'm going to show you some of my favorite herbs and how they absolutely love growing in the shade. In fact, they'll grow great in any shady spot. If you have a lot of shade and a very little bit of sun, these plants, they're going to work for you. So let me break it down for you, all right? So first up, we have all the herbs that are in the Apiaceae family. That's Latin. And I know it sounds fancy. I'm not fancy. It's the carrot family, okay? And three of the most common herbs that I love to enjoy in the kitchen from the garden, and I'm sure you do too, maybe excepting one, is cilantro, dill, and parsley. They're all in the carrot plant family. Now, I know some of you listening may hate the taste of cilantro, so just pretend like I didn't say that word. Cilantro, dill, and parsley all have similar growth habits and desires for thriving in the garden. First, they love cooler temperatures, so they're going to love it when the temps range from 35 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. They also love it when it's not too sunny and bright. If you've ever tried to grow cilantro or dill and it went straight to flower, it started to bolt right away. The reason was likely because it was too hot and too sunny. These plants like mild temps. They just like hanging out in the cool, okay? And so if you've got a shady area, if you've got a completely covered porch, a completely covered deck, cilantro, dill, and parsley could be your new best friends. They don't take up a lot of space. Each of these plants, you could have 4 to 6 in 1 square foot. And if you want to think about the growth habit of a carrot, right? A carrot sends down a taproot and then goes tall with its leaves. You know, you've bought one from the store before. Parsley, dill, cilantro, they have the exact same growth habit. They're going to send down a little taproot and then they basically just grow tall just right here in this one little section. And so you can pack in a ton of cilantro, parsley, and dill. You can plant it from seed. And these three plants absolutely do not mind the shade. In fact, right now in my garden space, my 2 back beds are completely shaded almost all day long. We're still coming out of spring into summer, and we have woods right behind our house. So my 2 beds in the back, they've got shade on them all day long. And let me tell you, the parsley, the cilantro, the dill in those beds are popping, especially the parsley. It never died, came back from the winter. And I am talking, I've got handfuls of parsley in those beds, and they're growing in all shade. So no sun, no problem. You can grow cilantro, dill, and parsley in the shade, I promise. Now let's move on to another grouping of herb plants, and that is going to be from the mint plant family. Now this is the largest herb plant family you're going to pull from. In fact, about 95% of the herbs we grow in the kitchen garden that we use in the kitchen all come from this one plant family. So this is going to include oregano, rosemary, basil, sage, thyme, and they all have very similar growth habits and growth needs, but some like shade more than others. So I'm going to break this down for you. These are the most popular herbs to grow. They're the easiest to grow, and these are the ones that don't mind shade. Now, mint, believe it or not, actually likes the light to be light, not too much heavy sunshine. I will have clients or friends who'll say, I just can't grow my mint. It's on my porch or my kitchen, my outside table, and it just won't thrive. And I don't know what's happening because there's tons of sun out there. And I'll say, that is what's happening. There's tons of sun out there. So mint actually loves a little bit of shade where it's growing. It likes the temperatures to be a little bit cooler. Also thyme. Thyme grows in very low light areas. Thyme is like a creeping plant. You can grow it as a ground cover. You could grow it in between your raised beds, in between rocks. It is very easy, very okay with not a lot of water and not a lot of sun. So, I mean, can we call this plant low maintenance? Absolutely. In fact, probably the only way to kill it is to give it too much sun and too much water. So thyme is another one. It loves low light, and it loves it when the temperatures are have a range from probably 35, 45 up to 85, 95. It can handle the hotter temperatures. It just doesn't want to be too wet. Next up is sage. Sage loves shaded areas too. It will do okay in bright sunshine, but generally it's going to go to flower a lot sooner If you've got an area that's covered with trees or covered with, a building, whatever is shading that area, your sage can still thrive in that space. Next up, we're going to talk about the onion plant family. And I wouldn't have you growing onions or garlic, things that you actually want to grow a bulb underground for in the shade, but the greens, for sure, they're going to work great in the shade. So chives and green onions and scallions, those are my favorite greens to grow in the shade. So in those back beds that I've been referencing that are completely shaded over, the chives are thriving, the green onions are thriving, and the scallions thrive too. So garlic and onion chives both work great along the border of a raised bed. You'll get harvest after harvest after harvest. They come back year after year. Chives are, I'm not kidding, like a no-brainer plant in the garden. They're so easy to grow, and they will do so well even in a shady space. Then green onions, same, and scallions. Those you could plant from a little baby plant or from even a little baby bulb. And again, the goal for these is not to get the onion, not to get the scallion, but to get the greens that we cut from the tops of those plants. So in the onion plant family, we call it Amarilla dacei. We've got green onions and chives and scallions. Those are awesome. The final grouping of herbs that will do great in the shade are from the Asteraceae plant family. This is the lettuce plant family. It's got sunflowers in there. It's got lettuces, obviously. It's got asters in there. And from this one, I found that chamomile and calendula will both do great in the shade. Chamomile is what we use to make chamomile tea. Calendula, you can make salves with it. You can make oils with it. You can make a calendula tea as well. Calendula is awesome for pest control. So I love having it in the garden just to balance out and keep my plants pest free. But calendula and chamomile both do totally fine in the shade. They're going to grow slower than they would if they had more sunshine, but both of those have done great in shady parts of my garden. So there you have it. Those are the herbs that will grow even if you've got no sun. Let's review. We've got our carrot plant family, cilantro, dill, and parsley. We've got our aster plant family. We've got chamomile and calendula, our two flowering herbs. We have got our onion plant family. We've got green onions and chives. And then finally, the biggest plant family, the mint plant family, we've got mint and sage and thyme and maybe some marjoram and winter savory. Now, things grow slower in the shade, but all these plants will hang on even if you have no sunshine in these spaces. So try it out. Tell me which herbs you're most excited to grow now that you know you can still grow herbs even if you've got a completely shaded space. If you want to know when to plant all these herbs, you got to get the Gardenary calendar. You can go to gardenary.com/calendar and download it right away. All you got to do is give me 2 dates and I will give you all the rest of the dates right there. If you love the concept of growing your own herbs, you've got to check out my book, Leaves, Roots, and Fruit. Chapter 2, Step 2 is all about growing herbs. You cannot miss it. You'll get all the details inside of this book. So Leaves, Roots, and Fruit, we'll put the link for the book right below this video. And finally, if you want to know more about growing herbs, we've got loads of videos. In fact, I've got one that's awesome all about cilantro that you just got to watch. It's about why you're killing your cilantro, and I'll put that video up right here so you can keep watching and keep growing more herbs. I'm on a mission to get rid of grocery store herbs. My mission is by 2030, you and me and everybody else we know has a little herb garden right outside their back door. So I hope today's episode makes that more possible. Now you know you can grow herbs even if you've got a super shady space. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, tell me what video I should make next right below this one. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening to the Grow Yourself podcast. You can keep listening anywhere you love getting your podcast delivered. On Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we are there for you. And if you want to read the notes and get our free resources to help you grow more, you can go to gardenary.com/podcast.